Hello everybody, this is CrossForger, and welcome back to another video of making wildlife SMP with commands in Minecraft Java Edition. Now, we left off on session 3, and so we'll be moving on to session 4 real quick. And I think it's about to happen any minute. So here we are in session 4, and this session is the time session. Now, this is how I would build it if it worked. The only problem is, it doesn't actually work. Well, not the way that I would do it. So this is running on a tick rate command. This is the max of what I thought I would put it at, is 150 seems to be a pretty fast. And if I show you real quick, let's just go tick rate, and we're going to go to 150. There we go. You see how quick that is right there. And that's pretty fast. I mean, you can get faster than this, but that's just what I decided to do. So let's reset that to 20. There we go. And I'm actually going to set the time to day. There we go. This is how I would set it up. So I'd probably go something like this. A tick rate 1 with repeater set back all the way to 4. And then tick rate 2. Tick rate 3. And so on. Tick rate 4 and stuff like that. And go along that. And then when you hit into past 20, which would be farther on along here, I would add a second command block on top of these. And in it, you'd put an effect, which would be speed. Or I suppose you could do an attribute, but I'd say probably just an effect and up their speed. And so this is how I'd go about doing it. Because if you see, if I take the tick rate to, let's just go to 1 and pretend this worked. Oh, yeah, I made a mistake. Whoops. I'll get down eventually. Come on. Let's take this back up to 20. There we go. Okay. So let's pretend that this tick rate was 1. Okay. Go ahead and punch that. And as you can see, it will eventually power on. Close. There we go. And this will slowly make its way to this one. And this is how long you'd have in this version of slow-mo, in tick rate 1. And everything takes so long. I'm trying to erase a repeater right now. And yeah, it would go all the way along until eventually it would hit tick rate 2. And let's just show what that would look like. And it would go just a wee bit faster, making its way along until eventually it would make it to tick rate 3, going even faster, and then, you know, tick rate 4, and so on until eventually you got back to normal speed. And so on. I'm just going to stop the redstone there. Now, there is ways to get around this. I think with servers, you could just put it into the game log, or the game channel, or whatever it's called. It's kind of like a chat window outside of the game that you can use as an admin. And so you could have that, like maybe, I don't know if there's a program that could run it, but you could run a bunch of commands just running through that. There's all the different tick rates at certain intervals. Or you could have a secondary account doing it, or you could just do it yourself if you want to do, like I was doing there. You could just run around and then quickly hit the next tick rate, whatever it would be, and so on. Now, you could just make a list, like, and then copy and paste it into the chat window. That would also work. But yeah, that's session 4 done. So let's move on to session 5. Here we are in session 5, which, if you guys remember, is the trivia bot session. This command right here is the clone command, which I showed in session 1, I believe, had the clone command. So I just simply cloning this and moving over here. So this is one module and this is another module. So this is one trivia question. That's a second trivia question. So let's go ahead and start the trivia. So what we do is I've set it up to a trigger command. We're just going to go trigger, and let's do trivia question 1. Oh, there he comes. Here we are. And we got a glimpse of what the question is already. So who won wildlife? Good times with Scar or smallish beans? Well, let's see here. I don't know. Maybe I can choose both. I've got a sweeping edge 3 sword here. Apparently I can't choose both. So, because, well, I already thought of that. Okay, so let's go with smallish beans. And I was correct. I got a diamond for it. Oh, and TriviaBot's gone. But, well, what happens if we choose the other question? Well, let's send TriviaBot back in. And TriviaBot will teleport wherever you are. So if I was standing all the way over here, he'd appear up somewhere around about there instead of over here. And of course, they will circle to follow you. Let's go good times with Scar. Oh, I got a third block. Well, thanks, TriviaBot. So how's this working? Well, we have a very, well, I would say simple, but it looks kind of complicated. But believe me, it's not too bad. So we're running a trigger command right here. So this is the scoreboard right here. Scoreboard objectives add Trivia1 trigger. And this is just an impulse and needs redstone. And up here we have scoreboard players enable CrossForger Trivia1. And this is just for the admin. So the admin will get this. And this is on a always active chain. And right here beside it, we have execute as all players scores Trivia1, 1 or more, run set block, -14, 60. And this is where this coordinates right here, these coordinates, are actually the coordinates for this block right here. So whatever these are, go ahead and set the coordinates for that. It'll go along this. So Minecraft redstone block, replace, and it's on an always active repeat. And above it, we have an always active chain, and it's scoreboard players set, all players trivia 1 to 0. Scoreboard players enable CrossForger Trivia. And again, this is just the admin. And this is on an always active chain. And what that's doing is when I trigger trivia, it will set the block right here, this stone block, to a redstone block. And below it, we have a impulse needs redstone command block that has set block, 1 block above it, to Minecraft stone replace. So the instant the redstone block comes here, it'll be replaced with stone, giving out a 0 tick redstone pulse, which I guess it doesn't make a huge difference that it's 0 tick, but it's just there. It just keeps it from always running. And so for 1 repeater goes into this side, which affect clear CrossForger in case I, one of these bad things that happened to me if I chose the wrong answer. It would clear the effect that was given to me, and it would set my base set scale to give me my scale back to 1. And you can set these to whatever you want, depending on what evil thing you want to do to the player when they get the answer wrong. And then this leads right here, and this is a little more messy. I probably could have fixed this up, but this is simply just execute at CrossForger run, summon Minecraft armor stand 15 blocks behind me and 15 blocks above me. Custom name who won wildlife ? And this is just the question. You can change this to whatever you want to fit the question. Just make sure to change it everywhere else in all the commands. Custom name visible 1, invisible true. This is just to make the armor stand invisible. Right here, it'll go into this, which is effect give entity name who won wildlife, and this is the trivia bot. Minecraft slow falling infinite 150 true, and all these are impulse and need redstone. And then over here we have item replace entity name who won wildlife armor.chest with Minecraft leather _ chestplate Minecraft dyed color 905000009. That's just the color for the tunic. And over here we have the replacing, so, and we don't really need that slash. I don't know why it's there, but probably copy and paste. Item replace entity name who won wildlife armor.legs with Minecraft leather leggings Minecraft dyed color 56360. 095. We have item, replace, entity name, who won, wildlife, armor.head with Minecraft player, head, Minecraft profile. The person may not want me to use their account name, but this, you put in the name for whatever skin you want. So create a skin and just create the skin with the head of TriviaBot, and then just put the profile name in. So I'd put in CrossForger if I change my skin to TriviaBot. And this all runs into this, which then goes along like this, which then powers this and does a very short timer until it runs into this command block here, which is execute at entity name who won wildlife run summon Minecraft sheep, and this is just off to the side of TriviaBot and just hovering above the ground. Attributes name generic dot max health base 1 health 10 no AI true custom name good time with scar color 14 silent 1B. This is just summoning the brown sheep, which was the choice for scar. At least I believe it's a brown sheep. Here, we'll find out in just a moment. Over here we have execute at entity name who won wildlife run summon sheep, and this is to the opposite side of TriviaBot. Attributes name generic dot max health base 1 health 10 no AI true custom name smallish beans color 5 silent 1B, and this is just to make the different colored sheep. So we'll let TriviaBot go ahead and float down here. And okay, it was a red sheep, not brown. And then we have smallish beans here, which is green. And so that will run all that. And all these are just always active repeating command blocks. And so this one right here, these are to get rid of the wool, because once you kill one of the sheep, I don't want just wool just laying about. And so it just kind of deletes them. So execute at entity name who won wildlife entity type item nbt item id Minecraft lime wool distance 2 or less blocks from that entity, and that runs into this needs redstone impulse command block, which is just kill entity type item nbt item id Minecraft lime wool. And so over here, and you would change the name of the wool for the color type. So if instead you wanted this to be yellow and you killed it, you'd want the yellow wool to be destroyed and not lime wool, because it's not lime wool. And this one does pretty much the exact same, but it has a different name. It's just red wool. And over here we have killing the red wool. And over here we have this command right here, which simply execute as entity name smallish beans at s anchored eyes facing entity nearest player eyes run TP at s and tilde 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 tilde. Always active, repeat. And this is just to make it where the sheep follow you wherever you're going. And the same goes for the other side as well, which is just for good times with scar, and this one does smallish beans. And you'll just change the name for whatever answer to the trivia question you want. And then over here we have this command block right here, which is execute at entity name who won wildlife distance 1 or more if entity type nbt item id Minecraft mutton. And then right here it will, well, I don't need that slash, but it'll kill entity type Minecraft mutton. You know, it's literally the wool one, but it's just killing the mutton. It's when it's closest to TriviaBot. This right here is a command block which execute as entity name who won wildlife at s if block directly below it Minecraft air. So if it's air and it's always active and repeating, then it will activate this. So if there's an air block above it, it will activate this. And this is into a not gate. So what I'm essentially doing is making it where instead of detecting air, it's going to detect whether or not he's standing on a block, like the block is right below him. I've just flipped what it's doing. And then execute as entity name who won wildlife at s anchored eyes facing entity nearest player eyes run TP at s tilde 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 needs redstone repeat. And this is literally the exact same command as this, but for TriviaBot. Now the reason I have it set up to this is because if you have this command running and he's midair, he's just going to freeze. They actually float. Like you'll see he's actually just floating. And he's actually just sunk enough now that I can't do anything about it. But let's just, or actually it's this one. There we go. So go ahead, get that. He'll actually float if we have this command always active. So that's why it's set up to this redstone mechanism. Okay, and now we have execute unless entity name, good time with scar, run TP at e name smallish beans, -25, -60, 25. And so this coordinates right here, and it's on always active and repeating, these coordinates is just over here. You can pick the coordinates wherever you'd like. This is simply what I'd refer to as the killing chamber. And the same goes for this, the same coordinates. Instead, it's going to be smallish beans and good times with scar in this section. So you're TPing good times with scar here, and over here you're TPing smallish beans. And this is, so if you kill smallish beans, it will TP good times with scar over here. And if you kill good times with scar, it's going to TP smallish beans over to here. And what happens when they TP over to there? This happens. So execute if entity name smallish beans is, well, at those coordinates. It's repeat and always active. And so if they appear at this coordinates, well, it'll send out a signal. And what it'll do is it'll give CrossForger, this is the prize. So this is the prize pool. Which is just dirt, because this is the wrong answer. Because smallish beans ended up here because I killed good times with scar. And then we have just kill smallish beans, which is over there. And this you may have to change. It might be like, you might add type sheep, because in wildlife you wouldn't want it killing smallish beans, the player. So you might want to add, I don't know, something like type equals sheep, comma. There we go. That works fine. And in fact, I'll just go ahead and do that for this one right here. And there we go. And those are all need redstone and impulse. And of course, you can see this just killing it. And then this right here just gives me a diamond for getting it correct. And this is the exact same command as the one over here, except it's detecting whether or not good times with scar is over in this section. And then it'll run along right here, and then it will kill TriviaBot. And this is just to kill TriviaBot right there. So this all just runs right here. And if you want to, you could probably just put this into one command block. Just, I don't know, just run the redstone along like this and then just activate this one. But I don't know, this just looks neater. Okay, so yeah, and I just place this button here because once you place this down, you'll just hit the button and it will add the objective Trivia1. And that's Trivia question 1. And that is literally the exact same for this, the same design. All you have to do is change the trivia question, the names of the sheep, which is the different answers you can give, and the color of the wool. So let's go ahead and just, let's do trivia question 2, shall we? Let's see what this gives us. So what year was Minecraft made? 2013 or 2009? Again, I know the answer, so I'm going to go like this, and there we go. Now, one more thing that you should know about the trivia questions is if you are high enough and you activate the trivia question, TriviaBot will be up higher, so it'll keep falling and falling and falling, but since the timer will run out, the sheep will just appear. So unless your friends are up on a giant mountain and he happens to be up far enough that he just goes off the cliff, then yeah. But you can still reach these guys. You might have to build up a little bit, but yeah, you'll still get the answer. And that was, the wool was too far away for TriviaBot to kill it, so. And I got dirt. Thanks, TriviaBot. Now we are on to session 6, which if you guys remember is the mob swap. Now this little contraption right here is simply just a contraption to kill all entities minus the player. And this is just a clone command to simply, well, this is just a backup clone command. This is the actual clone command to clone this whole section here, right there, and then clone it over to here, or even over to there. First, we have to make the trigger command, which is just this right here, scoreboard objectives add swap trigger, scoreboard players enable, CrossForger swap. And this will just be for the admin. Again, chain always active, impulse needs redstone. And this right here will detect if you activated the trigger swap. So execute as all players scores swap 1 run, set block, and these coordinates right here are the coordinates for this block right here. So go ahead and get the coordinates for this when you are building this session. What it'll do is it'll set that block as a redstone block, and it'll replace it's a repeat and always active. Above it, we have a chain and always active, and this is scoreboard player set at A, swap to 0. And above, we have scoreboard players enable, CrossForger swap, always active chain. And again, always active chain. And what it'll do is it'll set this block here to redstone, and below it, we have no command this time. Instead, it is off to the side right here. This is set block, the block right behind it or right here, to Minecraft stone, and it'll replace needs redstone and impulse. And over here, we have kill, entities type, not player, and type equals not item. And so this will go along right here, run redstone into this. It will then run redstone into this pulse lengthener, which will then run into this guy, which will summon pig about 5 blocks above. This will summon a Minecraft chicken 5 blocks above. This will summon a Minecraft cow 5 blocks above into this cage. And this is just a holding chamber. This can be whatever you want. In fact, you could teleport them to, or you could summon them to any coordinates. They're just there to keep them in a centralized area. So I suggest something like this. Over here, this also runs into this, which will summon a Minecraft sheep 5 blocks up. And why do I set it to this? Because this right here, these are all repeating commands, and this will run a whole bunch of times depending on how long this redstone goes on for. So since this is pulse lengthening, this will run on a lot longer. These 3 commands right here will summon a lot more mobs than this command right here, which is on just a regular pulse length. And there's a reason for this, and I'll show you later. So remember that this is a sheep. And so we're going to go along here. After these long timer right here, all of them set back to 4. We'll go along right here into these command blocks here, which will spread players -4, 55. So this is just the coordinates for roughly, I think, about the center of these blocks right here. So right here. So this is kind of the center. I think you could pick the center of the map. So the center of spawn. So pretty much you could just set this to spawn. So the spread distance and then how far it can actually go. So they can spread up to 5 blocks apart from each other. And then it will also spread about 100 blocks out. So you can make this bigger depending on if you have a large border far out instead of closer up. And then this is just, it ignores teams. There's no teams. It's just animals. Entity type cow. And this is a impulse and needs redstone. Over here, we have the same command, but instead for chickens. Same command except for sheep. Same command except for pigs. And it'll run into this right here, which will then run along into these commands right here, which will execute at type cow, will run summon a creeper right on top of that cow. Persistence required 1. So that means that if you go out of render distance, the creeper will not despawn, so you can't get rid of it that way. And the same goes for the sheep. So as you can see, this is the sheep that I told you about that's set on the smaller redstone pulse length. And I set it to that because the creature that spawns at the sheep is actually pretty dangerous. It's the illusioner. And I only want a couple of illusioners. I don't want a whole bunch of illusioners. So I set the pulse length to be a smaller time limit. And of course, we have a witch for the chickens, and we have a breeze for the pigs. And then over here, what it's doing is it's simply just killing all the animals in the world that match those things. So a chicken, a cow, a pig, and the sheep. And that's it. So I guess let's just go ahead and trigger this thing, shall we? So let's go ahead and trigger swap 1. Go ahead and do that. Okay, everything dies. And you can see they're already starting up like this. And then they're going to be spread out. And then there we go. They've all been swapped. Now the spiders aren't there. So I'm actually going to show you a more accurate. I've set up so it just kills everything and all their items as well, their loot. The slimes will be there, but let's just go ahead and show you what it should look like without all the nighttime mobs, minus the slimes. Just going to go ahead and run this again. There we go. Hello, sheep. I actually don't want to be next to you. Yep, there we go. And this is just swap 1. You can change whatever creature you want, but this is kind of roughly what it looks like spread out. So as you see right there, that's pretty nice spread right there. Not bad. Oh, this guy even spread it up into this chamber right here. So let's go ahead and just reset all this so we can run the next swap. So over here, it's literally the exact same, but instead it's swap 2. So you'll make all the triggers for swap 2. And instead of the coordinates for setting the block to redstone for that, you're going to get the coordinates for this. And it's the exact same along here. It's going to run like this. And you don't have to add this right here if you don't want to have a powerful mob. But I just added this for powerful mobs if you wanted more powerful mobs. So again, we have just all these basic neutral mobs. You can change these. You can add rabbits instead, and then just make sure to switch it for all the commands. So again, it's just going to be spreading players. And instead, it's going to... I've just set all the coordinates to this because, well, this was just easier. But I showed that you could just set all the center of the world spawn here as well. Like you could have them all spawning in that chamber, or I guess just this chamber. So you could just have one chamber instead of multiple. And so this is all going to run around. And again, it's going to spawn a bunch of stuff. So I have guardians and, well, you know what? Let's just show you. Let's just show you what I have here. So let's just go ahead and start this. Swap 2. Okay. As you can see, they're building up into this chamber here. Oh, there we go. Spreading out. Hello, guys. How's it going? Oh. Nice. So yeah, this is it's kind of what it looks like. In fact, let's just go like this. Oh, okay. No. Let's go creative mode. I don't like the look of that. And yeah, you can just see the chaos here. So wow. Let's just go ahead and set this all back, shall we? There we go. A little bit of fire, but nothing we can't handle. Let's go ahead and try the next trigger. So again, it's going to be trigger 3. And this time, what I have here, instead of repeating, because all those were pretty bad. The ones that summoned on the sheep, they were all pretty bad. But I still had a pretty decent amount of them because it was a repeating command block. This time, I didn't want very much sheep because the creature I'm going to spawn is very dangerous. And so I only wanted to spawn 2 of these guys. And so as it comes along here, when you run the trigger, it's going to run into here. And what it's going to do, it's going to run redstone through this, summon a sheep 5 blocks above, and it's going to come back around and actually fire again. So it's going to summon 2 sheep, only 2 sheep. And so it's going to come through all of here. Again, it's going to spread the players from the center of the world, or I guess whatever center focal point you want it to be. And it's going to run along. Again, it's going to kill things. And I'm not going to show you this time what they all are, because again, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So let's go ahead and run trigger 3. There we go. And you see they're going to start piling up. And we'll only have 2 sheep in there. There they go. And as you can see, these are what the sheep were hiding. And so we got one over there and one over here. Oops, sorry, guys. So yeah, it's a pretty nice spread here too. Now these guys aren't hiding special items when you kill them. You might be able to set something up if you wanted to, but yeah, that's swap 3 for you. And then you can just do this for however many times you want, and you can redo them like I showed you. You could just do swap 1 again, then swap 2, and then swap 3 again, and you can do that as many times as you want. And we're just going to go down here, and we're just going to kill everything like this. Now you could run these all in succession, because what this is doing, it's killing all the entities. So let's say if I run swap 1, sorry, if I run swap, just swap, you'll notice that all the magma cubes will die. And then we'll spawn everything in and spread them out and eventually just kill everything. So yeah. And yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of all these guys. There we go. That's nice. That's nice and clean. But yeah, that was session 6. And next up, I'll be doing session 7 in next video, which, if you guys all know, is the superpowers. This one was a fun one to do, but also one of the hardest. And it's going to have its own entire episode, because it literally, every single superpower was almost like a session of its own. So yeah, hopefully it's not going to be a super long video, but I'll try my best. But for now, this has been CrossForger, and may God bless you and keep you. And I hope you've been having a good day, and I hope I made it 10 times better. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!